Welcome to my channel. I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel like no one sees me, that no one really notices me or cares about me. When those feelings come, it's easy to feel unimportant, overlooked, even invisible. But there is a God who sees you. He sees your pain, your struggles, your tears. He sees your joys, your hopes, your dreams. And most importantly, He wants you to know that you are seen, you are known, and you are deeply loved by Him. In today's message, we will look at the story of Hagar and how her encounter with the God who sees us can bring comfort and strength to our lives when no one else can. Before we dive into this, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel. If you find my videos helpful, please consider supporting me through the provided means. Let's dive in. Genesis chapter 16, verses 1 through 7. Now, Sarai. Abram's wife had been barren, and she had one servant named Hagar. She was Egyptian. So Sarai said to Abram, "Behold now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. Go into my servant. It may be that I shall build a family through her." And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. He went into Hagar and found her sleeping. He said, "Hagar, sleep with me." So he went into her, the outcome of which was that she conceived. Then Hagar looked upon her mistress as she was despised in her eyes. Thus the Lord dealt with Hagar, and she conceived. Abram was 85 years old when his son Ishmael was born. Hagar's story is one of faith, hope, and trust in God. Despite the difficult circumstances, she remained faithful to Sarai and Abram, showing kindness and compassion to them during a time of great emotional distress. She also exhibited courage when she fled into the wilderness, demonstrating remarkable endurance and resourcefulness in a harsh and unforgiving environment. Her unwavering belief in God, His promises, gave her the strength to persevere and ultimately led to the birth of her son Ishmael, who became the ancestor of a great nation. The story of Hagar serves as an example for us today, reminding us to remain steadfast in our faith and to never lose hope in the face of adversity. Before we go any further, I want to point out that it says here that Sarah looked at Hagar in her eyes. I think that might have been a moment where Sarah thought, "Oh no, everyone thinks I'm so barren and can't have children. Everyone looks down on me. They see me as worthless because I can't bear children." We all have insecurities. We all have moments where we feel like people are looking down on us, that they see us as less than. But there is a God who sees us when nobody else does. And He wants us to know that we are valuable, that we matter, that we are loved just as we are. So let us take a closer look at the character of Hagar and see how she teaches us about the God who sees us. First, Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our pain. Hagar was a servant in a difficult situation. She was caught between two people who both wanted something from her, yet neither of them really cared about her own feelings or desires. She was essentially a pawn in their game, someone to be used to achieve their own goals without any regard for her own well-being or happiness. Yet despite this, God saw her, and He cared about her enough to send His angel to help her. Similarly, He sees us in our pain, in our struggles, and He reaches out to us through His love and support. Second, Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our weakness. Hagar was physically weak after giving birth to Ishmael, yet God saw her in her weakness and provided for her son's needs. Likewise, He sees our weaknesses and struggles, and He offers us His strength and grace to help us overcome them. Third, Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our fear. When Hagar encountered the angel of the Lord in the wilderness, she was filled with fear and trembling. However, the angel reassured her and gave her a new name, which means you are the mother of many nations. This name change symbolizes the transformation that took place in Hagar's life as she went from being a fearful servant to being a woman of faith and hope. In the same way, when we are afraid, God sees us and He offers us peace and hope to guide us through our fears. Fourth, Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our faith. Despite the hardships she faced, Hagar remained faithful to God. Even when she left the wilderness and returned to Sarah and Abram, she still held on to her faith in God's promises. Similarly, when we face challenges and doubt, God sees our faith and He rewards it with His blessings. Fifth, Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our obedience. When God called Hagar to flee to the wilderness, she obeyed without hesitation. Her obedience led to the birth of Ishmael, who became the ancestor of a great nation. In the same way, when we obey God's voice, He blesses us and uses us to accomplish his purposes. Lastly, Hagar reminds us that the God who sees us is LRI, the God who sees me. This name reveals God's intimate knowledge and connection with us. He sees our thoughts, our actions, our words, and our hearts. And he knows us better than we know ourselves. The Hebrew word ROI means to see in the sense of perceiving, observing, and understanding. It implies a deep, comprehensive, and personal knowledge of something or someone, including their inner thoughts, motives, and feelings. LROI, therefore, signifies a God who has an intimate, profound, and relational understanding of his people. He sees not only what we do, but also why we do it, what we feel, and what drives us. This name emphasizes the closeness and intimacy between God and his people. It suggests that he is not only all-knowing, but also deeply involved in our lives and concerns. He sees the smallest details of our experiences and understands our deepest emotions. This name also highlights the uniqueness of each individual. No one else can truly understand or know another person as God does. Only he can see the full picture of our lives, including our strengths and weaknesses, our successes and failures, our joys and sorrows. In conclusion, the story of Hagar teaches us that God sees us in our pain, weakness, fear, faith, obedience, and most importantly, in our identity. He sees us as his children, as his friends, and as his partners in ministry. He sees us not just as human beings, but as individuals with unique gifts, talents, and purposes. And he calls us to live lives that reflect his love, compassion, and justice. May we remember that God sees us and that he loves us unconditionally. May we trust in his promises and have faith in his plans for our lives. And may we strive to live lives that bring him glory and honor. Amen. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. May you be blessed with abundant peace and overflowing joy.